Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Thursday. Oofta, koofta. So we get on tunes here. All right. So last night I finished illustration 9 of Silver Pentacle. Ron is very pleased with it, and it rolled out the door. He feels like it. We stuck the landing on that one really good. It's great. I'll see him on Saturday. He wants to go on ahead and use the first illustration from that book to the first plate to do the cover. And though I'm okay with it, I feel kind of like we might want to flip that. I have a strong aversion to putting the I do have a free day. Good morning, Bob. I have a strong aversion to pointing the breathing space against the opening of the book. It makes the reader feel closed to opening the front page, which is not a problem. But I think what we want to do then is flip illustration 1 and flip the cover so that they match, so that that's not a problem. And that's something I'm going to talk to Ron about on Saturday, because I feel like they need to be flipped to the opening of the book. You should never have breathing space going towards the spine. If you guys are not familiar with what breathing space is the open area in a photograph or a picture or an illustration. So when you take a picture, you don't want to do this because the breathing space is back here. And so this looks weird. The composition looks strange. Instead, if we do this, it looks far, far, far better because the breathing space is right here. So when you do the cover of a book, you want to make sure that the breathing space is against the spine so that the spine of the book is here and the breathing space is here. Otherwise, it looks like the breathing space is going against the spine, saying, subconsciously telling you, don't open this book. So, not a good thing. We don't want to not open this book. So that seems like a bad idea. So today is a free day for me. I get to do whatever I want. I don't know what I want to do, but I get to do whatever I want. You're not the boss of me. I'm not kidding. I'm seriously tempted about doing star maps because I haven't done a fix on my star maps that needed to be done. I haven't done it in coming up on 9 months now. One outstanding thing I wanted to do with my star maps, and I haven't done it yet because every time we always have one vote for stretches. Although at the moment, because of the late start today, at the moment, both mom and the kid are downstairs, which means he's got an unlimited supply of scritches that does not involve me. Yep. So I am contemplating doing a star map thing today before Brent gets on. We have been running a star map system that I didn't want to use for a while because I really, really, really did not want to get crossways with Brent on this one because he's not wrong. I'm making statements, but the truth is he's not wrong. There's some seriously there's no reason to get this worked up over stupid stuff, but anyway. So I am looking for the master file that I wanted to use. there's nothing horrible about the star maps. What was horrible about it was everything you have always seen me do with other things, where I hyper focus and change all of the data here. We already have a couple of levels of maps, right? We have the galaxy map, we have the Earth's 1 kiloparsec zone. And then we have this wall exclusion zone map, which I've always loved. But it's difficult to understand or comprehend what's going on, because these are all the different gravity threads and stuff like that go through the zones in the what we call the wall exclusion zone, right? So here is the wall exclusion zone, right? If you look at this in a normal sense like this, that's the dense, yeah, sort of like that. Part of the problem has a lot to do with the fact that the Gaia data was inconsistent. So there's a probe out there called Gaia. Gaia is in a heliocentric orbit. That means it orbits the sun, not orbits the Earth. And what it does is it goes to one side of the solar system and takes a picture of a whole bunch of stars. Then on the other side of the orbit, it takes the same picture of those stars. Then it compares those two pictures and it looks for what's called parallax, right? So when a star is closer and a star is farther away, they'll move differently depending on where they are in the parallax, right? So using that, we can use just basic trigonometry and determine whether this star is closer than this star, right? Well, the problem is that Gaia was put up there and has been sending back literally terabytes of data on stars as it takes pictures of segments of the sky. And what happens is there will be updates. So I started putting all of this data in and placing all of my stars in this zone based off of Gaia 2 data. Well, then Gaia 3 was released and everything moved just a little bit because everything got a little bit more resolute. Because what happened, of course, was Gaia started by taking a large snapshot. Then Gaia 2 was a smaller version that they took many of. Then Gaia 3 is, so every time they do this, they're getting smaller and smaller and getting more detail on where everything is. Then there's the other problems, which is I don't know where in the Gaia data are the big named stars. But for some reason, the named stars are not in the Gaia data. So we get all of the stars around Bellatrix, but not Bellatrix. So Bellatrix has actually moved because Bellatrix was placed in its position by a previous probe called the Huygens, or not the Huygens probe, Hipparcos, another ESA probe. But the Hipparcos was sent up in the 90s, so the cameras are less resolute. So the Hipparcos data is off. So part of the problem was, during the duration of creating these star maps, I had them set up correctly. Then the data changed. Then my trigonometry sucked. I mean, part of the problem is that I suck at trigonometry. I mean, and so that's part of it, right? So my trig sucked, and everything was like flipped on the wrong side of the x-axis, or it was flipped on the wrong side of the y-axis, or it went the wrong way, and the stars went all over the place, and I was getting, Parkos. One, Gaia, which is its successor, both of those are ESA, and both of those are open data. You can just download it if you're willing to download 3 terabytes of data. But literally, I have a 6 terabyte hard drive, and that would be half the hard drive. That's where I'm parking everything I've ever done in like my entire career is parked on that 6 hard drives, including video files that be dumped. Yep. It was so. Anyway, that's really what we're referring to when you talk about what's going on and why star maps are forbidden, was because it was a super frustrating time for me. I would go on ahead and I would do all the math, and I would set the math in, and then I'd start drawing the star maps, only to find that I'd flipped a sign somewhere because it wouldn't match something else. And we still have that problem. I don't know what's going on, but there's a program called Celestia, which is a star. It's a planetarium program, but you can move. So I can position the camera at Bellatrix and turn the camera around and see where all the stars are in the night sky with labels. And so I will do these star maps, right? And we'll rig up our star maps, and we'll have these problems that are still showing up. And I don't know what's going on or why. They've got Gaia level 3 as well. So they should have everything the way it's supposed to be, right? So if I go to Bellatrix right here and look at QuACk, right, it should be to the right down because it's 0.9, right? Instead of 7.5 up, 0.9 up. It should be to the right and down, and I should see it. And the problem is, not all of these are showing up in Celestia that way. And that's a problem. Like, I will find that star and it's up here. And okay, you should be down there according to my star maps, which makes me think that something's wrong. But then it's not just that. I'll end up with things like QuACk is supposed to be here, it's here, and Emberson Garrison's right next to it. And it's like, okay, what happened? How did that occur? You know, what math problem did I come up with so that the 3D map version of this does not match? And ultimately what we ended up having to do was just say, you know what? It's all good. It's all good. Just deep breath. It's fine. You know what I mean? Like, we'll just take it. I'm actually kind of baffled by that too. Like, and it's because there are programs that do it right. If it's not the second star, it's the right. But, you know, looking at the primary stars in the system here, they should be on top of one another correctly. And they're not. And that's frustrating to me. So, anyway. So, yeah. I like how George's entire thing was he looked up at me and went, yo. Because all he did was look at me and go, and then looks back out the window. It was just totally the cat version of, yo. go. Anyway, everything that the first part of my story takes place in this back part here, the wall exclusion zone. And all of those, right? Scritches. It is and it isn't. It's interesting that the density of our stars is roughly 1, 2, 4. So 1 star per every 4 light years, give or take. So there's a guy out there who started, that's what started this whole thing. There's a guy out there who wants to, or who's doing a star map that's top down. Part of the problem really is that nobody's ever needed a star map to be 3D because we never send spaceships past the solar system. So it's kind of like if you never leave your house, you really don't need to know how far away all the other houses in your neighborhood are. You just need to know that that one's, Bob's house, and that one's Tim's house, and that one's Shirley's house. And that's all you really need to know. Yeah, but we're not just using exposure anymore. I mean, we've got better tools. So we're not looking by exposure. So, anyway. Oh, man. Needless to say, that's where we are. So from Carlton Hold, which is the gateway to the wall, past all the way to Lunas, is pretty much what I want to concentrate most on. That's because my child is going to be toyed. If you're wondering, moment is here. The thing that's most interesting is that merely keep is at the same altitude as moment. So if you were to look at moment's night sky, you'd end up with Carlton Hold here and down, but merely keep is slightly this way and back, but straight on. And Nero is slightly higher, and West Low's Citadel is slightly higher. In fact, all of these guys start going up. The stars start going upward into the, which is exactly, these aren't all the stars. These are just all the stars that actually mean something. Well, we're going to reuse this. Because we're going to do something else. Here's what we're going to change the canvas size. Make its width 11 as well. And then push that to here. Makes this a square that covers just the wall and the wall exclusion. Okay. Everything is relative. I think it's funny that my dad quoted that so much. Well, not funny. I think that was just elegant. Okay, so this is what we're going to concentrate on is the wall exclusion zone, because this is what we're going to be dealing with for the most part in our concentration on review. The wall itself, halt and hold, moment, merely keep, nearly keep, Nero, West Citadel, West Low Citadel. The truth is, once our heroes leave moment, they're going to go through merely keep, Nero, and then go into this group heading for Aether. Aether is the next big stop. Yep. Heading into this clump here, we've got Revelation, Spire Station, Golrion, and Aether. And Aether's the next hub. So these blue stars are big and young and difficult to deal with, but they usually have huge gas giants. Some of these would probably be population 0 stars, is what I would think. Generation 4. Okay, so we're going to take this to make new Lego. This. And maybe you shouldn't make it white. Just saying. Make it 10. Make it red. I see a blue one. Wrong wristwatch. Happy to have a good day at work. We'll see you later. Yeah, I mean, from the point of view, yes, Orion looks very different because Bellatrix is much closer to us than Betelgeuse is. And for these guys' sake, right? So we've got this wall exclusion zone set up here, which shows pretty much what the wall exclusion zone looks like in this. And these are, all of this is gravity gradients, which means that this is steering problems, right? And if you look in here, I've put all the titles in. So there's halt and hold, there's moment, merely keep, Golrion, West Low Citadel, etc., etc., etc. And heading out here, it's only part of this map, isn't it? It is. Which means we got to redo it. That's all right. That wasn't that big of a deal. That wasn't that hard. which is fine because I really kind of want to redo this side of it anyway on this side of the gap. So the maps match. So we're going to take and do the same thing. And I have learned a little bit more about how systems work. We're doing star maps because I'm on break. I'm allowed to do star maps because I'm on break. And I'm allowed to do them because I'm on break. That's it. Started watching the Utopia Planitia source book for Star Trek Adventures. I get that. I'm having a problem with received an offer. I'm on break. I'm allowed. Oh, okay. I get it. If it's got like all of the cool how to do it stuff, I'd be in on that book. So here's our master data. With all of its math and all of its important things put in here to get all of these systems correctly aligned, right? And here are all the Unity stars. We have one more. This one. right? So here are all of our stars as they're supposed to be set up in their position. And you can already see one of the problems is Carlton Hold, which was here, has now moved over here because that star got got updated star position information. Oh, that's kind of cool. I don't know how expensive they are by themselves. I mean, like that's like a $40, $60 book, yeah. So 10% off is not bad. Music's getting sporadic over here. I feel like I might be taking up a lot of processors on here. So, okay. So when we look in local space, this is the local space map, right? Here's us, Vega. These four are space stations. Tau Ceti, the Hyades cluster with Primus, which is the main star there. Bellatrix, Bright Folk, Echo Stronghold, and then here's the other side of the wall. This is the wall through here is this open bubble. Sweet. Over here is Pleiades. Right, this is the Seven Sisters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 of them in there. Just have to trust me. The wall goes through here and then goes this way. And this is what we call the Mersum tunnel, because there's a tunnel that goes through to the right music senses. There's a tunnel that goes this way. Here's Betelgeuse. And here's the Beehive cluster. So galactic zero is to the right. So the center of the galaxy is over here. The edge of the galaxy is up here. This is what we call leading, and this is what we call trailing. So the galaxy is moving this way, and it's moving in this direction. Since it's moving in this direction and going this way, this is to the center, this is to the edge, this is leading, and this is trailing. And that's the 4 directions of the galaxy. You have up and down. So those are the 6 directions. Leading, trailing, up, down, forward, divide by 0. It's messed up stuff. All right. Here's my original data with all of its formulas and everything built in. Yep, here's the, well, that's the thing. It's the Bellatrix, or the Betelgeuse exclusion zone. And that's this entire zone is pretty much an exclusion zone. In about 5 years in story time, the leading edge of the Betelgeuse explosion will hit some of the bottom stars of the Beehive cluster. So Betelgeuse is here. Here's the Beehive cluster sort of sitting above it like this. And this exploded out, and now it's got this sphere that's going out. Here's the Beehive cluster. It's coming up on the bottom stars of the Beehive cluster in about 5 or so years. So the kingdom of the Beehive has been already starting procedures to evacuate those stars. And they know that the long-term plan is going to have to be to do something about the Beehive. Because at some point, all of the Beehive is going to be on the inside of the Betelgeuse exclusion zone. Some of the stars aren't going to have they're not going to have that big of a problem. Because the destruction line is getting less and less as that gets further and further away. The 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 disruption of what's going on is dissipating. The problem, of course, is that it'll still disrupt the gravity lines, which makes all of the area really rough. So, I'm going to take Halton Hold. We're going to rename it so that it's not Halton Hold. Because we've already now said Carlton Hold in the we've actually said those words in the whatever. We've said the words Carlton Hold, so we have to make that a space station. So we'll just come up with a new name for where the heck you are. You have to find it. Yeah. You're going to help me find it, yeah? Number 1. So we're going to just name it something else. Hi. It's cat butt time. It's cat butt time. It's cat butt time. Yeah. I'm keeping my glasses now so I can see what's going on outside. I see we have somebody who's walking dogs. Dog walking. Huh. Dog walking. Okay, this is more entertaining than watching people herd cats. This is the high entertainment for my show this morning. There's a lady out there. You mean Mekton? There's a lady out there who is walking 1, 2, 3, 4 dogs, 3 little guys and 1 big guy, and she's got all 4 of their leashes tied to a belt on her waist so that she can pick up all the poop. Okay, no problem. Hey, nicely done. Thank you for, keeping our little neighborhood clean. She's trying to go around this sign, and half the dogs went this way, and half the dogs went this way. So all of her leashes just got tangled up in the signs. In the signs. In the signs. In the signs. Yes, I am totally familiar with Mekton. Mekton 2 is one of my favorite role-playing books ever because of all of its random tables and stuff like that, and its random life path generator is great. Why aren't you watching the dogs? There's a whole bunch of dogs to go watch. You could go watch a whole bunch of dogs, and instead you're up here pestering me. You're a good cat. You're a little weird, but you're a good cat. You're a little weird cat. You know that? Mecton Zeta. Believe in the sign of Zeta. We're going to have a pure time. Everyone's a noble mind. Bob knows what I'm doing. You're too young for that. You're too young for double Zeta, or even single Zeta Diamond. There we go. See, now that song's gonna be stuck in my head forever. Alrighty. Alrighty. Right? I do too. I actually don't have the soundtrack to Zeta. I have. When I was in Japan, I found at the Tsutaya, that's the video store, which, video store and everything else store, media store. But it wasn't a media store, it was a media rental store. And I found that I found what was it I found? It was I want to say it was the Sunrise Special Edition or something. Emotion 20th anniversary TV set. Right? And it had things on there like Tank from the Seatbelts version of Tank, the Real Folk Blues, obviously, and Diamond Calling. I got it, of course, because it had Seventh Moon, the love song My Friends, and Diamond Calling from Macross 7. But what it also had was Jubei-chan, Escaflowne, Big O. I love the Big O song. Big O, Big O, Big O, Big O. Copelia's Coffin from, what was that? Like, Copelia's Coffin comes from, I can see it in my head. Oh, I've got the singles history for Gundam too, don't I? Don't I? I should. I feel like I have lots of Gundam. What did I call it? Because it's not under Gundam, it's under Mobile Suit. It's under Mobile Suit. Yep, Gundam single history, right? That's a big one. Because then I've got... there's Zeta. Believe in the sign of Zeta. Double Zeta's opening, Double Zeta's ending. Double Zeta's second opening. And then I have Gundam's original soundtrack, Char's Counterattack, the original soundtrack to Gundam, the special, and the symphonic. Right? Some good stuff, man. After this show's over, I'm totally listening to that stuff now. You got me all cranked up on it. I'm like, hey, Gundam. Right? I mean, Gundam's the best. Anyway, we haven't gotten to all of the mecha that are in Prolatrix Rising yet, but there are mecha, obviously. I mean, we've gotten to see the shuttlecraft has legs, but they're actual, like, marine mecha and stuff like that. The Marines have something serious to talk about. Okay, we're going to take this. We're going to sort it. Sort. My data has headers. My data has headers. By class, add a level. By subtype. Right? Seatbelts, man. Ding dong, man. Ding dong, yo. Ding dong, yo. Okay. Yeah. I like that. to get the spray bottle out. And I can mask this. There we go. Oh, the Akira soundtrack. That's a thing. That is a thing. This is us going down memory lane. Ken said, both of those furry bastards saw their shadows. 6 more weeks of this stuff. And I was like, talking about gophers, your alpaca, or my cats? I mean, like, really? All right. A2s. Their solar masses are 1.97s. This has become important. We only have one B2 star, huh? 7. F-class star. F0. 4. That's gross. F2s. You're like, what are you doing? I'm putting in F5. The size of these, because this affects its gravity well. Well. Oh man, Argus. 5-star stories are so pretty. Oh no, not again. Five-star stories was one of those listed under. Wow, what a setup. You know what I mean? Like the pretty factors of that are just so high. 1.14. G0. 1.07. A lot of G stars. Because that makes some sense, right? G-class stars are going to be closest to Earth stars, so it'll be easier for us to inhabit. G1, 1.4. Practically, a little easier to G2, 1. Only one G2 star for long fall. G5, 0, 9, 6, 3. G8 star. A-class stars. Two zeros are 0.7. Since gravity plays a big part, 1, 0. 2, 0.78. Gravity plays a big part in this. G3, 0.76. Seven, 562. And 0.04. Yep. So these are only the populated stars. That's it. In the Unity, there are a lot more stars. These are just the ones that happen to have stations around them, or domes on the actual planets themselves, or something. They're places we can go. So this isn't inclusive of all the stars in the area. It's just inclusive of all the places that people have settled. So Miracle, which is the only red dwarf hanging out there, is the only star that's red, because that makes some sense, right? And a little red dwarf star that actually is loved by the Chakrana quite a bit, because the Chakrana really like dark stars. Because they, yeah, I mean, it's just other things are just. right? So we'll put a gravitic map together at some point here and talk about all the other stars in the game. But for the most part, these are the ones we're dealing with the most. So 0.048 is a T8 subtype, and it really isn't that big of a deal. These guys, though, it's really weird. And it's 5. Thank you. Let's put that. So, the biggest stars that are out there are Gap Jump, Carlton, Holden, Ethan. And Bellatrix, of course, is the biggest star in the area, which is why we know of everything. Bellatrix is huge. It's the biggest star in the spectrum type. So if I were to take you and sort you a different direction and sort by mass, we'd start with Miracle as the lowest and move up to Bellatrix, which is the biggest monster in the area. Which is why it was settled first. It depends. We don't happen to have any F or G class stars that are big in that area. It just doesn't happen to be that way in this particular part of space. There's nothing out there talking about it. I mean, it's just the way it is. Yeah, in general, just kind of looking at this and kind of going, okay, cool. So what we have is its M prime rating. And its M prime rating is the masses versus Earth, or Sol. Which is fine. The bottom limb of the M prime rating is going to be 0.04, which means that I need to look at the ratio of it to the bow shock of the system. Right? Because I think it's proportionate to the mass of the star. Pretty sure that's the case. Bagoo. Pepper has joined us. Hello, Pepper.
Hello, guy.
How are you this morning?
Very frustrated.
Very frustrated, huh?
Mm-hmm. I took
Would it
something.
help if I said I love you still? Still love you.
Mm,
You're like, no, not really. But thank you.
not really. No, I didn't get much sleep or really good sleep last night,
Uh-huh.
and then because I had an early morning appointment, so I took something that's normally helps me go to sleep. Not only did it not help me go to sleep, well, I mean, it did help me go to sleep for an hour and a half.
Right.
And then I woke back up, and all of a sudden, I was able to like go for like another 5 hours. I
Huh.
was not too happy.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you've dealt with that.
Yeah, I empathize. I mean, hey, welcome to ADD land. You know, we don't sleep well. Yay.
Um, um, also, I think I think your family would actually get a really good use out of this. One of the people that I on and off support on Kickstarter, they just recently did an RPG version of what they do. Have you ever heard of the Monster Rangers?
No.
Okay.
No, but well, okay, maybe because like now that you mention it, I'm kind of like, oh wait a minute, I think I might have
They've
heard of
come
it.
up to Colorado a few times for different events, especially for like smaller kid events for
Yeah.
comic books. And they basically took that they're an alternative to Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts.
Yeah. We interviewed them once as Geek Tank.
Mm-hmm.
I remember
Yeah,
that. They're cool
yeah.
people.
So they just launched a really cool RPG for families, essentially, to kind of go through,
Uh-huh.
and it's like more of like an occult pulp adventure
Uh-huh.
than like D&D. So, but like they have like I was looking at the stuff last night. Like I can't really do anything right now for them, which makes me feel sad. I sent the link to I sent the link to Bill. I hope he looks at it and maybe like we can do something. But um, it's it looks really cool. But like the biggest package is like $185, I think, for individuals. And like I don't know, like I just don't have that money because I would get like all the physical rewards and everything with that. Um, they do have lesser packages, like lesser support things that I could possibly go for, but like I'm one of those people that if I'm going to support something, I want to support everything, not just half of the project, you know.
Right.
Um, so it's either I'm all in or I'm not. So
Makes
there you
some
go.
sense.
Um, and I don't know if you'd be interested, but right now until Friday, jacksonsart.com. And I'm only mentioning this because I know you dabble in watercolors. You
I
haven't
do.
fully committed. But Roman small watercolor is on sale on jacksonsart.com. Um, so, um,
So, do we want to get together on Saturday? I'm heading up to do the normal my normal meeting.
I'm supposed to be going to that, aren't I? Yeah, I'm supposed to be going to that.
You don't have to. There's no requirement.
Well,
It's
I
just that every
already
time
kind of
we've
put my
mentioned
foot in
it,
my mouth.
every time we've mentioned it, you've been like, "Oh, they don't like me because they never invite me." And Todd was like, "Why are we not inviting him?" So I just wanted you to know, you are very welcome.
No,
They
Todd,
don't
I,
have a
I
welcome problem.
already I already told Todd that like last time I wasn't going to due to everything that was going on.
Yeah.
I'm still hesitant about going because I don't know how people are going to treat me.
Well, I'm
Um,
not treating you at all, so no candy.
well, fine. You don't have to give me candy.
No, because like I'm not. We're not. We're not going to help or hurt our various medical issues.
Yeah. Um, no. I when I was talking to Todd for like the last meetup, I
Yep.
wasn't sure on how people would react to me going, and I didn't want to go.
Yeah. What would you think that they would react in what way? I'm not sure how.
Because it happened everything that happened with
Oh, okay.
yeah, it happened right before
I
that
don't think.
Saturday. Remember?
Yeah, I don't think that anybody knows what that was. I mean, like you weren't very out forthcoming on all of that information. So I
Yeah.
think only your friends really knew what was going down at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not going to judge you. Well, we're going to judge you on your art quality because that's who we are, and we're required to.
That's mean.
Well, right? You just the friends you got stuck with, man. Stuck with us whether you like it or not. Anyway,
Well,
so there. So only one of my stars has got a really big astrosphere.
Guy, are you working on star charts again?
I am. I'm totally working on star charts because today is a break. I get a break today. I don't get to work on them any other time, but today I get to work on them.
Guy, back away from the star chart.
Everybody's like not letting me fix the two problems that need to be fixed on my star charts. It's all
What
right.
are you trying to fix?
One of them is my gravity gradients were wrong on the original star charts, which is not a problem. And then I wanted to make a 3D version of the star chart so I could actually visualize where the stars were relative to one another.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was just something I was like, I've always been meaning to do this, but every time I bring it up, everybody's like, don't touch the star charts. I'm like, okay. But it's like, meh. And so I've figured that today it's not as big of a deal because I don't have any. I finished my other stuff early, so everything's finished early.
I saw that post.
Yeah, I'm up 2 days, so I've got today and tomorrow where nothing's required of me necessarily because I don't want to start drive safe until Monday because I have to clock in and I have to clock out. I actually have to really do the things. And tomorrow morning I have a meeting, so I'll be late getting in to the show tomorrow morning because I've got a 9:00 meeting with Drive Safe. So
Can you just cancel the show tomorrow?
I don't know if I want to cancel it. I might though, but I'll be late either way.
I mean, if you cancel it, all it really is you're taking a break for a day, and you come back Sunday night. You don't do a show Friday night.
I don't. You're right. I mean, I might, but then what happens is that I'll come back. I'll clear my meeting. It's only going to be about a 30-minute meeting or so. It'll be 9:30, and then I'll be sitting here going, looking around. And I'll be like, so why don't we put
Watch more Picard.
there you go. Watch Star Trek. Always watch Star Trek.
I mean,
George has decided to take my chair. Let's use George, which is all right. I should probably stand. But I'm going to take a picture of him because he's adorable. More George pictures. There's nothing wrong with more George pictures. I've noticed that I have more pictures of George than I do my kid.
Well, it's because George is a cat.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, cats still get worshipped.
Right?
You can't say it's not true.
It's not, and that's, I mean, I'm with you.
Anyhow. Alright. Yeah. No.
I am just deep into theory here. Oh, interesting. I'm fascinated by the size and shells of all of these stars. Like these larger stars have these wild astrospheres. It's kind of cool. Where they have these bow shock shells. It is always amazing to me. Right, George? You think that's amazing too, don't you? You always do. Turns out that our electromagnetic spectrum is shaped like a croissant. So the the bow shell, the astrosphere is shaped like this croissant. It's kind of cool because it goes up and down and then gets blown back by the movement across the galactic center.
Gotcha.
So trailing on a star all the time is going to cause interesting things. My ships in my story entering in through the trailing end of a system is always going to be less efficient. They're always going to enter in on the leading edge of the system, which tactically is an interesting thing to come up with, for space battles, because they don't want to come in on the trailing side of the star, because if they do, they're going to have to travel at a slower speed for a lot longer to come through the trailing side. So it's fascinating that that's a thing, which changes one of the lines in Bellatrix Rising issue 2, because she's saying that they're coming in from the trailing edge and nobody will ever come in through the trailing edge. There's no reason to ever come in through the trailing edge of the system. The entry point will always be forward on the front end of a system. So, and it'll be weird. Like the Pleiades, the trailing edge is faced almost straight towards us. Not quite, but the trailing edge of those stars, because all of our stars moved forward, but the Pleiades is going sideways through the middle of the arm. Which is why there's a huge bubble right now where our star system is, where Sol is, because the Pleiades blew out this hole in the system and then punched through the thread of the Merizum tunnel, which is this tunnel of clouds. There's a tunnel that goes through there, and it's punching through this way, going through the middle of that tunnel, going out to the side. Always fascinating to me whenever you think about like the construction of a large scale size of the galaxy. Kaboom. Yep. Well, and that's what I'm trying to come up with is my nav charts, right? Because moving through this zone, we've got is this effect that looks like this, as this tunnel that has this hole punched in it that's kind of like this. But that means that the leading edges of these stars is like this, because they're moving that way. Whereas the leading edges of these stars is like this. Right? And even our systems are moving this way. Did you just go upside down, you goof that? I'm upside down. That way you can tickle my tummy. Cat tummy, cat tummy. may mean that actually this tunnel. And I feel like those impacted. And if you think about the way, yeah, actually, you've got a good point. This is going to be more like this.
I just want to point out when I read that, I thought of Beetlejuice, the movie.
Yep. Well, don't say it 3 times then.
Oh, I've already tried doing that when I was younger. It doesn't work. Michael Keaton did not show up at my house.
You're like, Michael Keaton, I'm here. I'm here. And he was like, I'm Batman.
Yep. That's pretty much it.
There's 2 words I want you to remember. I'm Batman. Oh my goodness. Interesting. Hot Jupiters tend to have polar orbits. I wonder what causes that. I'm doing good today, Can. How are you doing? Brent, someone came in with a squirt gun. We won't name any names. But we're looking at you. All of this stuff is fun to me. I don't know.
I guess I should tell you guys what I'm working on, right?
Yeah, you don't have to.
I'm actually working on the book for the cards.
Oh, that's cool. I got work to do at some point here, and I'm going to have to, but, you know, it's kind of like,
Well, it's 10:31, so if you're gonna start working on something, you're gonna have to start now.
You're
Wait, you're working on star charts. So I guess you're still working.
I am still working.
Even though I thought you had all of the star charts of your imaginary universe all worked out.
Yeah, I'm doing something else now.
What
Which
are
is
you doing?
how far out is is the stellar well for each one of these stars. Because I mentioned that now in one of the comics, I've mentioned that it's stellar well. You know, where is the stellar well? So you have to slow down before entering the system's stellar well. So that's why
Well,
we're doing this. Well,
okay. Well, I think that you need a space salmon shark for your story.
what?
A space salmon shark.
Space salmon shark? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They look like small great white sharks.
Right. You were saying that, and then Bill said you couldn't have one because they were too small.
Well, my sister-in-law was like, well, they get up to 10 feet. And I was like, well, those are the females. If I get a male, they're only 6 to 6.6 feet. So I need to figure out on how to fit in my house a 180-gallon water tank that's rounded so that they can go in a circle.
Right.
And then I need to build a trap door so I can feed him my enemies. Exactly.
I feel like I should be able to get this information.
Someone's starting to spray you with a spray bottle.
It's Can. Can's always trying to spray me with a spray bottle.
Yeah. I'll do it for you, Can. I'll do it for you this weekend.
Right.
Just go.
What's the math of this workshop? Absolute mass. Oh, I already have the absolute mass of all these guys, huh? Yeah. You'd have to figure out how to support half a ton of weight, though. About enough to have similarly two humpbacks in pavort class vessel. Then you could say humpback. Just saying. That's what I'm doing. I'm not worried about it. I am just trying to think it through while I can, while I've got the time. It's not a. I've got a few minutes here. None of this is stressing me out. It only stresses other people out when I work on Star Wars. I actually rather enjoy it. It's a challenge. And every time I do something like this, I get a better picture of how our galaxy looks and what the universe looks like through here and what's the tangible pieces of it. which is kind of cool. So, not that worried. And Dungeons, yeah. Because we're just going to do this. Say, copy, then we say, paste special items. And what this does is this just cooks all the math, so the math won't change, which is important because I'm about to do this and take these out. Those numbers static and well, that was what I was thinking, is like if I can figure out its angle, like a couple of things we need here are one, we need to go back to sorting that first level, which is column A. Column A puts this in its correct order to the other chart, because one of the things that we're having a problem with a number of times here is this column A. Because there's been a disconnect between those two. These are Tyco catalogs information. And I dropped these 2 stars because they were just not even right. I don't even know. The perspective ruler. Perspective ruler, yes. It's under your rulers. Perspective ruler. Right? Now how to make it work. I don't know. There's a lot of rulers going on here all of a sudden. I'm guessing our perspective ruler is where it intersects. Yeah, it's where it intersects. Add the vanishing point. So that's our vanishing point there. Here's our perspective ruler. I don't know. So the perspective ruler is under the ruler tab, which is over here right above my head. I know there's other ways to make it work, but I'm not sure how that works. So, sure, a lot. I don't know. Right? Because like this is ridiculous. Well, the Matrix's actual name is that. This. That. Look, but. Look here, but. He's like, I will not be denied. I am cat. Hear me roar. Except I roar, so hear me meow. I am cat. Hear me meow. I am cat. Hear me meow. Hear me meow. I'm a cat. This must only be this isn't the stuff that's on the other side. Paragon. All the stars on the other side, they're not marked. Alt and hold. Yep, that's exactly what they look like. And you'd get the croissant effect. So what I'm hoping for when finished is we're going to have something similar to this here. So like you look here and you're going to have, you know, sort of an elongated croissant like this around Aether, which would be kind of like this or whatever. And then Golarion will be like Golarion will be like this with its stuff like that. Spire might be like so, depending on what its rotation is, etc., etc., etc. Rotation, stuff like that. That's what I'm looking for. Because the way it works is you've got a star, then you get this bow shock, and then you get these sort of bows that come off of either side like so, depending on the size of the star. Aether's huge, and it's not that far from Spire Station, so Spire Station's going to be probably in the way of Aether and Aether's bow shock. So you're going to get kind of a mixed mess between Spire Station and Aether, which means that things like ships coming from Spire Station to Aether are going to have this zone where they're not messing with that stuff. It's two stars' bow shocks are colliding, and there's going to be this huge gravitational mess in there. It's just going to be this ugly zone of nasty. And that's what's so cool about doing these this way. In doing it this way, I get Gesundheit. I get a good idea of where everything actually is on this. And then I get stories that make sense, right? Between these two stars, there's going to be territorial chatter between the two bow shocks as they collide. And since Aether is a place that we are going in my story, somewhere along the line, it's going to be very important to have set that up at some point. Yeah, exactly. So the interesting thing is, ships leaving from Spire Station, heading for Aether, are going to have to take the long way around. They're going to exit the system, move sideways, and then come back into Aether on the nose end of the system, the entry corridor. It's all good. I got it. I know exactly what you're talking about. Which actually means that the design of this would be, let's bring up one of these so we can actually draw it out. That'll be the croissant, if you will, with the star in the center, which will have a ring to indicate the system line, polar line, and an approach cone. And that'll be what we'll have for all of these star systems. Voodoo? Can has joined us.
Hi.
I think Can has joined us. Try it again.
Did I just heard him?
How's it going?
Going well. How's it going with you?
I won't lie, I'm getting my squeezy bottle hand ready.
Okay, so I'm now starting to kind of like legitimately wonder here, is there an appropriate time for me to ever do this?
There is, but you spend so much time on it.
No, actually I haven't. That's the problem. And like that's actually what I was saying was like I haven't touched any of these star charts since July of last year. I haven't touched a single one of them because everybody's like, don't touch your star charts.
Yeah, because you spent 2 years on the star charts
Sure.
before.
Sure, and I don't mind that. I mean, I get it. I totally do get it. But like new information has shown up that actually, like I was saying to Bob, has made for a fascinating new thing, which is I now know that there's rapids between these two stars, right? And that's going to make for an interesting story piece whenever we get to this star.
Okay.
So,
But I think what everyone's more concerned about is you're trying to match it to reality too much.
Yeah, that's the concern, is right now you're talking about a storyline that is how far down the line?
whenever they get to Aether, which isn't that far away, I guess. But I mean,
Is that this episode arc?
No.
Okay. What we want you to do is we want you to finish off this episode. Like, that's the most important thing, is right now you should be focusing on Moment.
Sure.
Like, that is a great story. And then after Moment is done, update your star charts, do whatever you need to tweak the story for the next story.
Okay, but like I had, and yes, I completely agree. But like I had said at the beginning, well, you guys weren't here at the time. Because of this croissant thing that we just learned about, I have only one entry point for a star system for every ship. So part of the story in the second comic was she said, hey, they're entering through the back of the system, so it'll take them forever to get here. And they will never enter through the back of the system because we just discovered that was a bad idea. So they'll always be entering through the front of the system, which changes the difference between, it changes the tactics that she has in the story.
Okay, but is that
So,
pertaining to
question.
currently you're in?
Yes, that's book
Yeah,
2.
that one does pertain. I get that.
Okay.
How much does it slow the ship down by?
I don't know. I haven't made those numbers yet. So I guess part of it is I don't want to just make up a number and say 23 because then I'm locked in. I'll have to stay 23 from now on. And once I do the rest of the star maps, then I guess everything's now this star's got a slowdown by 4,600,000,000 because I said 23, or whatever. And I'm trying really hard to go as far as I can before I have to start fudging stuff. You know what I mean? What's warp 10? Warp 10 is, something. A billion times the speed of light. They just started fudging at some point in time because they did exactly what you're talking about, which is, start in Star Trek and they're like, warp. Warp speed's light speed. And then they found out that the galaxy was huge. And light speed means that warp speed means that it'll still take 5 years to get to the nearest star in real time. So they started fudging the numbers and stuff like that, which is fine. I just want to get as far as I can before I have to fudge the numbers. You know what I mean? Like, I will have to fudge the numbers. There will be a time. There's nothing I can do about it. Somewhere along the line, I'm going to have to say, I've already written this into the story. There's literally nothing I can do. So the world of Bellatrix Rising goes into true fiction at this point in time. This is the way it goes. And stuff like that. So it's just little things. If I can do an adjustment before we hit that point, then yay. And I'm with you. I mean, I've been leaving the maps alone. I've been leaving everything since July. But I've now made an error that would have ended up with me changing fiction or starting fiction in literally issue 2. So how far did you make it, guy? To issue 2.
But you haven't made an error. That's new information that has come out since then. That isn't an error.
No, that's probably a poor usage of the word. Because you're right, it's not an error. No error. So it's all good. I understand what you're saying, and I agree. I'm just sitting there going, but when do I play with these things that I do actually enjoy doing? When is an appropriate thing?
Well, it isn't a matter of when is it an appropriate thing.
Mm-hmm. It
feels like you become so obsessed with the realism of it. Like, you don't want, you just said it yourself, you don't want to have to fudge the numbers. But I think in this case, since you're already working on Bellatrix, or since you're already in Moment, fudge the numbers for Moment. And then you can fix the other ones to be correct.
Yeah, it's what I was saying is, like, there will come a time where I'm going to have to do that anyway. And I'm aware of that.
Well, no, what I'm saying is do it now. Because you actually have a great story opportunity right now with Moment. Because everything is so screwed up in that system because Moment shifted that if you fudge the numbers, no one will care.
Right. Because it'd be assumed that it's just part of whatever occurred.
Yeah.
I mean, I see what you're saying.
I'm not trying to be mean or harsh. I'm trying to get you to work.
No,
know?
I'm right. It's 11 o'clock. I'm not opposed. I'm just like, I mean, I guess my whole thing is I get it. I mean, everybody wants me to do my work, and I get that. That's totally cool. No issue here. But then it's kind of like, but on the same token, you know,
Quit making excuses for yourself.
do what?
Quit making excuses for yourself. Get back to moment. Live in moment.
Live in the moment. Like, I'm not making excuses. I don't know. I mean, I'm like, I don't know. I guess I'm
sorry, I'm seeing a pattern of procrastination with you sometimes.
Guys, I just wrapped up like Airship 27.
I know. I mean, with your own story, that's all.
I agree, but and I'm not even saying I don't procrastinate. I totally do.
Okay.
We're
just concerned for your friends.
Yeah, I mean, I'm only working on this show. I'm not even going to work on it past this show. If I don't finish this stuff by the end of this show, which is right now, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm out. I'm out.
Yeah. Because I thought your next book is supposed to be ready for Wicked West, I thought, right?
Okay, yeah. So here's the thing. I set up all the deadlines, right? Silver 2 has to be finished by February 4th. Today is February 2nd, right? Pinnacle 2 is done. All the drive safe animations must be done in a 1 week period. They have to log in and log out. That's the next thing on the list.
Okay.
After that, we go into and that's done by the 13th, which is a week from Monday, right? We've got Omake 1, which should be finished by February 17th, and then the Springs book, which should be finished by February 21st. If that all works, those two should be able to go out to the printer on March 31st. They'll be ready to go, and I actually put the Springs book out. Right? I'm not going to work on it, otherwise Kanan will be here with a super soaker.
Yep.
So that I'm ahead. I'm ahead by 2 days. So that's why I was like, you know what? I'm going to do something I haven't done in a while. I haven't worked on the star maps and stuff like that. So it's not like it's just something that seemed like Bob had said I haven't heard anything. I've only heard legend of star maps.
So we can blame Bob for the star map work?
No, but he was like, I've never even actually seen you work on star maps. And I'm like, that's because I'm not allowed to. I was like, I've been meaning to fix this one problem with my star maps for a while, and nobody was here.
So what you're saying is, next time, someone has to log in when you start the show so that the star maps don't come out?
Oh,
in all seriousness, we care very, very much about you and this story.
I know you do, and I appreciate that a whole lot, and I don't want to downgrade that. On the same token, there will need to be adjustments made to the star maps from time to time. We're going to need to do it. And
right.
The answer is never touch them, never look at them, never bring them out. Then there may be an issue at some point. You know what I mean? Like, I totally agree.
I think though for us, we're seeing it like you're trying to ground at least the star maps in too much reality. You need to have some flexibility within your story for imagination and how you want to see that develop.
Sure.
You base everything off of what's already in line in our reality, it's gonna make you fixated, and it's probably gonna back you into a corner at one point of, oh, I can't do that because I just changed the star charts to reflect this in my world, not in their world, how I would like it to be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
You
I
can
do
be
think,
flexible in that manner. You don't have to have it so hardwired, spatially wise at least, so that you can at least try to do something simple in your storytelling to make it entertaining and know that it's an entertaining value.
yes. So maybe this is a good time to kind of mention what my drive is behind this and why I'm so big on these things. Because I think that might have some bearing on what you guys are talking about.
Honestly, I thought it was your spectruminess.
It is spectrumious, but it's not in the way that you think. I get a lot of decision. What is it called? Decision paralysis in my stories and stuff like that. So my way of solving decision paralysis is to make a bunch of rules, and then I can break them if I need to. But at least the rules are there so that I can have decision paralysis go away.
Okay.
The answer to the question here is absolutely. I mean, I do use this as an excuse to get away from the work that needs to be done. But that's not the way I'm feeling today because I did get the work done. All my work's done. So, though I do completely agree with you, I am notorious for it, no question. This is not really that, I don't think. Although it could be. It absolutely could be. But I like to add rules so that I don't get decision paralysis. That's one of the reasons why I use randomizers for stuff, because otherwise I get stuck with too many options. You know, it's like, what color skin does this guy have? I don't know. We've got like 60 of them, and I'm afraid I don't want to just make him white because I'm white, you know, and I end up with these weird decision paralysis things. So I'll just use a randomizer, and I can roll the dice, and he comes up with whatever it is, and that's fine. So I appreciate what you guys are saying, and I'm not disagreeing with you at all. There is no disagreement here. So, but in this instance, that the question that I've got is, when is the correct time to do things like this?
In between the episodes, like the major arcs, go ahead and do the update the charts for the next area.
Okay. So in other words, wait until all 3 episodes are done, then do it.
Yes.
Right, and when you do it, you actually have to you can actually justify it by putting a line in the next arc going, hey, they sent us over the new star charts this morning when we woke up.
Sure.
The map is slightly changed, so we have to change course slightly.
Okay. No, that's fair. That's a totally fair thing. I'm okay with that.
And set up your rules for that system during the planning stages for that particular episode arc, the 3-issue arc.
Mm-hmm.
Because that way you can have all of those decisions done for you, so you can just work.
Right. I believe you had said something very similar to that before, either one of the two of you, and I can't remember who it was. I was on a show, and you know what? It may have even been Brent, but somebody in the focus group said you need to finish all 3 of your scripts before you settle in. You know, if you've got three issues to an episode, finish all three of them before you get into this, because
That sounds like Brent.
yeah, because they're talking to each other. These scripts are talking to each other, and so you know he's not wrong on that one. So yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and I don't want to come off as I'm trying to be bossy or I'm trying to.
I know exactly what you're after here. You really are trying to make this better, make me not do the things that I fall for. I mean, it's the same thing as when we tell you need to slow down.
Yeah.
I mean, it's because, you know, it's because we love you. It really boils down to we don't want you to burn yourself out.
Yeah.
I got no problem with this.
Yeah, it's, you know, you're early, and that's fantastic. You're early finishing up your other things, and that's fantastic. Yeah. That is really, really good. But being 2 days early can suddenly disappear like that.
Right.
And so you also have to balance, okay, should I use this time to work on the second issue?
Or do I use this time to rest my hands and nap?
I love naps. I'm a major proponent of naps.
So that tomorrow I'm only a day ahead and I can be refreshed and my body will not hurt.
Not disagreeing with that either.
Pepper, I feel attacked right now.
Oh no, I'm attacking myself. I'm attacking myself. You have no idea.
We have a lot of idea. That's why we are yelling at each other. It's totally why we're on each other's case. Oh man. We'll go for a little while longer. Actually, if you don't mind me going and getting lunch, then I'll go get lunch and come back up here and we can keep going for a little while longer. I don't think I want to go past noon, but you know, that's a thing.
Yeah, no. Grab some lunch and come on back.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
I'm going to work on this page.
Yeah, we'll wrap up the page and we'll talk a little bit more and whatever. I'll grab lunch here.
I'm doing a 44-page booklet right now, so, I mean, I'm writing.
We both go quiet.
Well, we kind of don't. When we're working, we kind of just do that.
Yep. Actually, you know what? I just thought of this.
Mm-hmm.
Is okay. He has the one entrance, but if they know that everything's shifted and screwed up with moment,
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's the when the information goes back to the other ships, they calculate a new entry point and it's at the back of the system. So
Maybe
all
whatever,
of the destroyers would be at the front of the system to protect it from any Federation ship coming in.
Mm.
And then tactically everything shifted and they hadn't noticed it.
True.
But that's like
Something that you will have to let him know about.
yeah. And suddenly that one line that he's looking at throwing away, he can keep.
Mm-hmm.
Because it would be an interesting plot point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's absolutely true, Bob. Not everything has to be, and that was my one point, was how much is this actually slowing them down by?
Mm-hmm.
Welcome back.
The stage of history. Thank you.
So while you were gone,
Uh-oh.
We did some talking, and we know how to help your story out a little bit with this section. And using this information that you just discovered about the leeward and wayward sides of the system.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You can do, you can actually make it so that once the Federation finds out about the system moving,
Mm-hmm.
you can keep Cochrane's line.
Mm-hmm.
Or whoever said the line about, they'll come in on the back side of the system.
Mm-hmm. Because maybe the shock may move because of that whole thing.
Yes. And so what we were thinking was suddenly the front of the system isn't the front of the system, it's the back of the system.
Right. Because it's moved to a different space.
So all of the Commonwealth ships, your bad guy ships, are in the back of the system because that's where they should be. And suddenly that's not where the optimal attack is from. And you could use that as a storytelling thing.
Mm-hmm. I like it. I like it a lot. Well, it depends on whether, if we're looking at the croissant here, and if you assume that the best entry point is through here, but the croissant gets turned this way, so you're coming in still through the middle of the front of what you think is the front, but it's the shock is turned around. Moreover, if the system is turned in some way, it'll take time for that croissant to turn around and go the correct direction. Kind of like if we had an airstream around a ship, like an airplane, and we all of a sudden just turned the airstream around the other direction, it would take time for it to flip back into the correct direction. Since it's only been, galactically speaking, a few milliseconds, it's going to take time for that to flip over.
Yes.
So it might just be all absolute chaos. Which makes some sense too. Because the line just needs to be changed just a little bit to the entire gravity gradient is completely screwed up. It'll take months, if not years, for this gravity gradient to straighten out. They're going to come in through what they think is a clean gravity gradient, and not. It's not clean at all. So it doesn't need to be changed a whole lot at all. That wasn't really my point. I appreciate you guys solving it, and it's a great solution. My point was more along the lines of, I just wanted to do this before I forgot what I was doing, sort of thing.
Yeah, no, we get you, but we were also brainstorming on how we could use this information to help you too.
Right. I appreciate that.
And do you have notes set up for the second story art?
I've got some notes, yes.
So put it in the story notes for the next arc is work on the croissants.
Mm-hmm.
Every single time you say that word, I keep wanting to correct you by going croissant.
So, episode 1. No dying.
Not today.
What do we say to death? Not today.
Satan? What? Oh, sorry.
Definitely not today, Satan. Satan has issues, man.
I mean, I think it's the cloven foot. He has a hard time finding shoes.
It's true. And we don't make fun of him for that. We really don't. Mm-hmm. The reality is, I kind of like the fact that this is it turns out to be a different kind of universe, because I'm not taking the traditional starship route, it's not Star Trek. And so I like that. And I do agree, though, the dangers of me working it because I've gotten all caught up in something is pretty profound. You're like, I want more scripts.
This is purely coming out of a place of love.
I know it is.
I'm
not worried at all. I'm not worried about you guys. I don't think
Yeah.
you guys are being mean to me or anything like that.
This is purely, we are as excited for your story as you are.
Aw, that's very sweet of you guys. And it's almost as sweet as this cat who's decided that I'm not paying enough attention. So he will be literally in front of my monitor. Yep, and I'm not feeling like you guys don't like me or anything like that. Yeah. Why are you not helping me with this? I'm looking at you. See? Look at all this work that's bud. Gotcha. Okay, but if it's okay with you, I'm not looking at your names. Okay? Can we just not do that part? You just believe me whenever I say I love you instead of, requiring me to look at your names. feel like you're causing trouble. Yeah, that's
George? Never.
George. I know. Are we shocked? We're shocked.
He would never cause trouble.
Right?
He is the most wholesome kitty you know.
That is so true. So true. I can't believe I doubted him.
I mean, the accusations, sir. The accusations.
Right. Huh. Totally did. Weird. All right. No problem. Besmirch his name.
Besmirch his furry name.
Besmirch his furry name. All right.
Earth is live, just like stars.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Bob said a while back about the chaos caused by the magnetic field of the Earth flipping. I'm just going to say I wouldn't want to fly into this system with one of my ships.
Yeah, that's a
real thing. It's a real threat in my story. Very
well,
real.
and in this case, it goes in with the chaos they saw on the way in. Like,
right.
They jumped in and everything was already going to hell for them.
Yeah.
So, Chang.
That's right. I do it too.
She could be, spitballing with the one person and that
The
line
engineer.
that she has where she
Mhm.
goes, tactically the best way to come in is on the backside of the system. She could still use that line because she's experienced that.
Right. Well, that's what he could be reminding her. She's like, well, it doesn't matter. Either way, it's going to be equal trouble for either one of them because they'll both be coming in through the front entry corridor. And he'll be like, we came in through the front entry corridor and everything was a mess, which means that the entry corridor is not the entry corridor.
Yeah.
And then that's where we could have Gravitics going, yeah, you should see this system. It is a complete disaster. This is what it should look like. This is what it does look like, and that would be perfect. I mean, it still fits and kind of cool. I mean, we've added a little bit of like a certain amount of cool factor to it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's pretty cool in that one. So I'm up on this. Uh-oh. Don't ever do that again.
actually coming in this morning and working on this, I changed some wording in this page and I changed some things around, and it works better. Because originally I was going to have Momo say, whoa, 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 we're on your side, don't fire. But instead I have Mammy go, I'm not here to hurt your people, we're on your side.
Right.
This is Mammy now standing up for herself. And I think that creates a more powerful moment that Mammy's starting to change and Mammy is starting to become more than what she was before.
And not a real pushover, kind of like she was, and
yeah,
and starting to, because I mean, she's always been sort of like a little floofy, but this is less floofy.
Yeah, this is her starting to take on that, and I really actually kind of like the way this is changing.
Yeah, I agree. That sounds better.
This is definitely ready to ink.
Messages from Bill.
Are you still on, sir? Aren't you all supposed to call it a day at 11?
By now, don't you guys have lives? Hi, Bill.
I just came to say hi.
Hi, Bill.
You mean to talk to me about something
No.
else? Okay.
No. All right. I'll let you get back to your fun things.
We just wanted to we were doing good. And we were doing
Well,
good.
actually, Guy should explain to you what he's been doing, and you can flog him too, like we have.
I'm okay
I
with
think
that.
I think there was enough of that today.
Right. Well, I need to get back to work anyways. I was just. It sounded like you were going for a really long time, so we got to come and say hi.
We just got some good work going on here
Mhm.
and stuff like that. So
Makes sense.
that's cool.
All right, I got to get back to what I was doing.
I couldn't afford the big shells. I got the 3 small ones. I'm in trouble.
So now you can't use the bathroom because you don't have the 3 shells.
I don't have the proper size. I only have the small ones.
Yeah.
Fog card's giving me brain fog. Guy, did you find out, or did you see the fact that they did a video game for Lower Decks?
Yes,
Okay.
I've never
It is
played.
utterly ridiculous. Like, it is exactly like the show, just in a video game format. As far as like the writing for it goes.
Yeah, does not in fact surprise me in the least.
They have the helping assistant in the video game, the little insignia that from that
Agi.
was, yeah, they have him as the one that like helps you explain how to play the game.
Can I teach you a lesson?
I'd be very scared at that point.
That's the whole point. Badgie is the best.
What is it? What?
Badgie, it's a
So,
character from Lower Decks.
so like the best way to describe this character is basically think of him as Clippy from Microsoft Studios that would pop out and give suggestions on how to make things better or improve. Well, you know, but it's like Chippy. It's like basically he pops up in a hologram.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, and there's a malfunction in it.
Rutherford. Somewhere along the line, Rutherford built him to be helpful. Rutherford's the engineer, and he was trying to be helpful. And instead, he ended up making Badgie psychotic. So...
You know, I had in one of the comics I wrote, I actually had a Clippy. I actually had Clippy as a hologram, and it winds up like going insane on the characters, and it's sounding very similar to this.
It's very funny.
It's one of those moments where it's like, what would happen if like people who grew up with Clippy wanted to draw, like wanted to create an evil, maniacal, crazy version of him.
So
It
funny.
looks like you're trying to take over the universe.
Would you like some assistance?
Yes, yes, I would. Clippy, you're my new pinky.
Oh man.
But I'm not pink. It's alright.
It is so wonderful. It's so funny because I was sure when they announced it that I was going to hate it because it was insulting to the Star Trek universe. And then I actually it's such a ridiculous thing, but I really do like it. And I was sure I was going to hate it for, because I'm obviously too much of a snob or something. I don't know. But I don't hate it at all. It is awesome. And every last bit of it is just wonderful. And Badgie is just not right on so many levels. So many beautiful levels.
I mean, I know they reprogrammed him, but like, seriously, I don't think it was even done that well.
The reprogramming?
Yeah, I still feel like he's gonna just go psychotic one day. I don't know.
Well, he's probably just psychotic. It's just
Mind you, I've only seen season 1. I haven't seen season 2, so.
Oh yeah, I don't. I feel like, and I mean, I might be wrong, but I feel like Badgie was at 1. So.
Yeah, I know he was in 1. That's on how I saw him.
So.
Yeah. Bill's slowly figuring out on how we can get the episodes, so.
When he figures it out, please have him tell me.
I think he's waiting for Picard to get all the way through season 3 in order to just buy those outright.
Fair. There we go. That is a stellar layout. At least we can roughly set up a stellar layout now, and that'd be cool. That was what I wanted to do. The gravity coma. Here. Good. All the pieces work. Should be relatively easy to do this. Just take the star shell, select. Alignment rings need on. Thank you. System select. Changes to E and shrink. Where are we going? Select. Okay. Lower Decks is filled with evil computers. It is, some of them voiced by the man himself, Jeffrey Combs. Jeffrey Combs.
Well, it is afternoon, so I am going to hop off here.
That sounds reasonable to me.
We did say that we were going to go until 12, so.
It is now. Well, that is. That's
Well,
the way it is.
Mhm.
So. All right, guys. I'm going to clear. I will see you all tonight. And thank you for joining us and hanging out with us, Bob, and being the instigator that you are. But a beloved instigator. And I know that Can's watching me. You'll watch. Okay, guys. I'll see you guys all later. Thank you, Pepper. Thank you, Kay. And I'll see you guys later on tonight if you join me. And as always, keep your eyes on the stars.
Bye!